I'm Kate Conroy.
And I'm Vanessa Vitello.
And this is Other People's Business, which is the podcast from the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, which is the largest and most influential statewide business association in the entire United States. Man, that is a long 30-second commercial. I mean, that is just a mouthful. Every time I say it, I'm like, gosh, that can't get longer. For more
we'll cut it down. This is BIA's podcast.
For more
Want to
info,
learn more? Too bad.
Exactly. NJPIA.org if you actually do want to learn more. Today
we're joined by Tom Stockey from the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, better known as NJPAC. Mm-hmm. So, Tom, introduce yourself.
Wait, can I just say first how big of a fan I am of NJPAC? Can I just say first? Yeah, last year I saw Mandy Patinkin in concert, and it was freaking outstanding. He just did such an amazing job. And in the spring, I'm looking forward to Prisoner of Azkaban with the orchestra. Oh, my Lord. I mean, I'm a Potterhead, and I cannot wait. In fact, Daniela in our office here, I think we're going to go together.
Shout out to Daniela Velez.
Yeah. Shout out to Daniela Velez. Yeah, I think we're going to go together because it's so awesome.
Yeah, as a movie fan, I don't know if you're familiar with this on the air or not, but NJPAC does things where they will take the film and the score, like the orchestrated part of the score, gets performed by a live orchestra. So, I mean, I think they've got E.T. coming up, and I was definitely interested in seeing that. Wow. Home Alone is coming up in a couple weeks. So I keep an eye on it because I love certain movies. Wait,
there's an orchestra score to Home Alone?
Yeah, I think that was John Williams.
No way, Home Alone?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I promise.
That sounds like it's about right.
I mean, John Williams will not be there at the NJPAC.
No, obviously not. But when I think of John Williams, I think of Star Wars. And
yeah, he actually also did E.T. Wow. Sounds of Trenton behind us.
Trenton is here, yeah.
But yeah. I mean, if nothing else, you don't have. I mean, you should go to NJPAC and check out.
I agree.
But it's probably on TV in the next couple weeks. Check it out.
I totally need to Google that.
Yeah, listen for the music. I mean, if you remember it, regardless of what you think of the movie, try to remember the sound. I'm not going to try to hum the score, but just try to remember. It's actually a really good score.
I do not remember the score at all. I just remember, marbles and falling downstairs and soup cans hitting people in the face.
The wet bandits and the sticky bandits. I remember,
yeah. Oh, God.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway. Tom,
absolutely.
Sorry.
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you guys today. I appreciate you having me. My name is Tom Stockey. I am the manager of the group department at NJPAC. Basically, that works with all sorts of groups in our community that you can think of, from companies throughout the state to schools, from college level down to elementary schools, to nonprofit organizations like Jack and Jill, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, to dance schools. And basically what I do is offer a platform for groups in the community out there to come out, to spend time together, really enjoy their company, get to know each other, and watch a great performance that ranges anywhere from dance shows to comedy to rock concerts to classical or jazz. A little bit of something for everyone at NJPAC, and we are celebrating our 20th anniversary season this year.
My God, really? 20 years?
Absolutely. Big year for us.
Amazing.
Definitely. So we're very excited for the year. We got some great shows coming up. Like you guys said, we have Harry Potter, the 3rd episode with the symphony playing.
Also John Williams, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, I think you're right. I believe
No,
that.
I'm right. So, I'm sorry.
How about this, guys? The 40th anniversary of Animal House. We're going to have a screening of that with 2 of the characters there. They're going to do a Q&A afterwards, so it's going to be really cool to hear from them.
Did John Williams compose that score as well?
No, he did not.
Absolutely, yeah, that'd be interesting.
That sounds awesome, though.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
Is fun.
What a classic movie.
Yeah.
I think people will love it, and to hear from people that were actually there behind the scenes and that were involved in the movie, I think would be really cool. So
I agree.
That's coming up in
That'd
February.
Be really fun.
Yes.
So one of the other things I love is how easy it is to park. Oh my gosh, I love that you've got parking right adjacent and across the street.
Or just get off from, because you're close to the Newark.
Yeah, Newark Penn Station.
Yeah,
it's all
trains.
walkable.
Yeah, so you can go from there.
Totally
Absolutely.
Walkable. Yeah, and okay, one last plug. The Brussels sprouts on the menu at Nico's changed my life.
Where's Nico's?
Oh my God, Nico's is the restaurant attached to NJPAC.
Oh, okay.
So you can literally park, have dinner, go to the theater, and then walk back to your car. It's totally easy and like just fun. It's so great.
I'll have to write that down because the fat kid in me would never go to a restaurant and order Brussels sprouts.
Can I tell you what they do? They caramelize them with some kind of brown sugar sauce, but they've got onions in there as well. So it's like this combo sweet and savory thing.
Oh, wow.
Changed my life.
See, I usually tell people if you bread it and fry it, I'll eat anything.
Right.
So that sounds like along the same lines.
There
Like
you
we're
go.
caramelizing
You know,
it and
I like that in theory, but I still won't eat calamari because it's
calamari is so good though.
One of
so
my favorite.
weird and gross.
Oh, especially with like the marinara sauce. Oh.
I'm
You got to cook it right.
My wife, Tara, she loves calamari, but she can't stand it if it actually looks like the little squids, octopuses, whatever.
Yeah.
If she can see the little head or the little tentacles, it really freaks her out.
It's got to look like the onion ring. Right?
Yeah, see, exactly. It's got to look like just the generic
Baby
fried
onion
thing.
ring.
Yes, they do.
But that's like the exception that proves the rule that I won't eat. Just because it's breaded and fried and looks good and probably tastes good, no, I'm not eating that.
Yeah, traditionally all my life I've really hated onions, and in the last like couple months, like this is brand new.
Pretty recent.
I decided to try onion rings for like the first time in my life, and I was like, oh, it's not so bad. So again, bread it and fry it.
Good for you.
Yeah,
It's great.
you always got to try new things.
Expand your horizons. That's what life is
Busting
about.
out of your comfort
There we
zone.
go.
Oh my goodness.
Little baby steps.
Wow.
Yeah.
With onions. That's hilarious. Okay. So, Tom, you told me recently that you are considered by your friends to be a little bit of a know-it-all. And I think that is awesome because I am also considered to be a bit of a know-it-all. Mm-hmm. And Vinny and I were talking about this, and he suffers from the same problem. So I thought that we could compare the things that we wish we could correct people on, or sometimes like to correct people on, but maybe don't. So for me, it's grammar. Like every time I get an email or I see a publication and I see something wrong, under my breath, I'm like, typo. I can't help it.
Well, my friends call me coach, and they've called me that ever since we were in grade school, and I always try to just teach people if I feel like I know something,
right?
And conversely, I would want someone to point something out to me,
right?
If they thought that I wasn't doing it right.
Yes.
So, one of the things is maybe playing sports, perhaps. Hockey is one of my favorite sports, so you got to know how to play the game right, and that involves skating, that involves passing. So that's one of the things my friends laugh at me and my family, where they think I go overboard, and
that's awesome.
The devil's in the detail.
That's nicer than me. That's like helpful as opposed to me, which is just a caddy, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you.
But did you ever hear the Martha Stewart story? She was on NPR years ago, and she was talking about how she suffers from the same thing. And I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with Martha Stewart. It's more love these days. But in the beginning, I was like, God, she's just such a know-it-all. She knows everything. She wants to tell people how good she is at everything.
Yeah.
So then they were interviewing her, and they asked her, is that something that you struggle with? Because you seem very comfortable helping people, quote unquote, helping people do things better. And she's like, actually, yes, I struggle with it every day. And in fact, one time I was watching this guy try to remove the pomegranate seeds from a pomegranate. And she said, I held back and I held back and I held back. And then finally I was like, listen, let me help you do this better. I know how to do this better. And I was like, wow.
See, but I can see
relate
that.
to that.
Okay, if I'm taking the seeds out of a pomegranate, this is not something I do every day. I don't think I've ever taken the seeds out of a pomegranate.
No.
So if somebody was like, hey, look, not for nothing, but you want to get under the pomegranate seed and chop it out like that, I'd be okay with it. It's not the same thing as being like, all right, look, your Thanksgiving Day spread here could use some work. Or your kid is really acting up right now. You should kind of tell him to do, it's not the same thing.
Yeah,
it's a fine line,
right.
but absolutely, it's something that we try to help people out, but you could come across the wrong way, but you just try to be friendly, and, detail oriented, and hopefully it'll come out right in the end.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally agree. So Vin, what's yours? What do you like to correct people on?
I try not to correct people on much of anything, but so I am, I have a deep journalism background, so spelling, grammar, that's in there. Especially on Facebook, you'll be seeing your friends typing out stuff. And you think in your head, wrong your, wrong there.
Wrong too.
Happens a lot with movies, too. Not 5 minutes ago, I corrected you on the composer for Home Alone. So So, I mean, like, it's true. It happens all the time.
So helpful, isn't
like,
he?
I try not to be that geek that's like, well, we can't get a 4K Blu-ray of Star Wars because back in 1997, George Lucas. But, like, that's the thing. Like, in my head, these things happen, and people, like, say things, and I'm like, no. We'll enjoy the conversation.
It's a little Cliff Claveny, right? Yeah. Actually, it's a little known fact that...
Yeah. So I try not to be that guy.
Hey, that's the way to live. You don't want to come across as a little too pushy with people.
Yeah, it's tough with the spelling thing because, like, all right, so the movie thing, I mean, that doesn't happen all that often. Right. You're talking to people about movies and they say something wrong and you whatever.
You're just like, whatever.
But spelling is like every freaking day.
Right.
Like every day. Yes, I'm looking at people make spelling mistakes and I'm like, biting my tongue. But
totally.
Very true.
I totally know what you mean.
I kind of wish that I didn't have that in my, that's my prison without bars. So.
Do you know what's really infuriating? Okay, and this is, I probably shouldn't even say this. We might have to cut this out later. So, not at this organization, but at other organizations, when you get an email from somebody with all, like, spelling errors and stuff, and you know that they are, like, so far above your pay grade. Like, they're, like, major partners that, and you read these emails from these people who are just very successful. They make way more money than you, and you're just like, how? How did you get to where you are? You can't spell. How?
You have real deep-seated issues with the 1%, don't you? Remember, like, a couple episodes ago, you were talking about how, like, you cut people off on the road if they drive, like, Lexuses and stuff? Like,
no.
Like, this is a real problem for you.
Drivers here.
That is inaccurate. No.
That is not inaccurate. We have the tape.
But let me clarify. What I said was, if somebody is trying to enter a roadway, and, I have to yield to let them in, it's not about cutting them off. I have to, stop in order to let them in, like on an entrance ramp or something, or a parking lot.
You're like bright purple right now.
Then I will see if they are perhaps a Mercedes or a Lexus, and if they are, maybe I just won't let them in, that's all. They've had enough luck.
Okay.
You can wait a minute.
That's exactly right. You can wait a minute.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a tourist...
The zipper, Kate, remember the zipper? One car in, one car in, one car in, one car in.
Just shut up.
Very true.
Moving on. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, awful or awesome.
Cool.
Okay, we are back, and it is now time to play Awful or Awesome. Gentlemen, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ready.
Awesome. I'm going to name 3 things, and you have to decide quickly if it is awful or awesome, and then be prepared to defend your answers. First up, the mall.
Awful.
Awful, wow.
Wow.
What do you got?
Oh, I'm sorry. I would say, between the parking and the fighting to find, the right things in the stores, to the lines, to the, wow, I'm really optimistic today, aren't I?
No, I agree, especially this time of year.
Yeah, it's just very hectic, God bless Amazon and some of those things where you can shop online. I would say it's awful.
Awful. Then?
I mean, I don't know if I have a strong opinion either way. Like, I think, it's good when you need it, and it's awful when it gets to that kind of thing. I feel like I'm being pulled in this direction because, like, the last time I was at the mall, I had such a bad experience.
What happened?
I'm going to blast out, like, several of our employees right now, or my coworkers.
I don't know this.
So we went out to lunch. It was me and I want to say, like, 7 of them. And I order my food. I go to sit down, and just like that, they all got up, like, in unison, and left, and I'm just there alone. And I'm like, so I'm gonna blast out. Shout out to Wayne Staub. Shout out to Amy Music. Shout out to Roxanne Poandra. Shout out to Lisa Fagatner. Shout out to Katie Whitcamp. All of which just get up and leave me in the mall. They're like, sorry, we got something to do. Gotta go. Bye. Wow. And I was like, whoa, I only came out here in the first place to hang out with you guys. So I was upset.
So wait, you guys were in the food court.
Yeah,
everybody,
the food court.
You choose a table.
We actually like got 2 tables together. Like because there was a lot of us.
Right.
So we're moving 2 tables together. And I don't know, I guess my food took like a little bit longer than everybody else's, and everybody else just got like a little drink or whatever. And so I'm coming back at the table. I go to sit down, and they all just got up. Like, they had this conversation in the 2 minutes that it took me to, and I was just like, well, what? So,
Where's the love?
Where's the love? That's horrible. Wow.
And I got this whole sorry, not sorry kind of vibe. No, I love them all. But it was just wow.
Yeah.
That's harsh, man.
Yeah,
I would never do that to you.
I know, right?
I would never
Thank
do
you.
that to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Even after I corrected you on all that
I
stuff.
know. God, you're such an...
Books passes. All of it.
All right, so I would normally go with awful because the mall is just a nightmare for me. I hate it. Like, I always get there, like, when they open at 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning when it's empty. I get my stuff done and I get out. But every once in a while, I get there and I have to deal with the masses and they're just pushing and they're stupid and they're, like, window shopping with their kids and they're not paying attention where they're going. And the kids are walking into you and you're just like, get out of my face. But I will say, I recently discovered, and by recently I mean last year, 18 months, something like that there are restaurants at malls. And those restaurants...
I found out that the hard way.
So I found out that there are restaurants at malls, and those restaurants serve alcohol. Yeah. And they have happy hour specials. And so there's a mall that happens to be, like, kind of half equidistant between, like, my friends after work. We go there sometimes for happy hour. And let me tell you, window shopping while tipsy... It just changes the entire experience. I'm less angry. The kids bumping into me, I don't want to hit them as hard.
Oh my gosh.
It's great.
Wow.
It's really not that bad at all.
I like it. That's a new approach. I'll have to adopt that.
I wouldn't go so far as to say awesome. Because if you need alcohol to make it palatable, it's still pretty awful.
Yeah.
But it's growing on me, I guess.
Okay.
I would say awful during this season or this time of the year. Any other time of the year, it can be more enjoyable, less stressful.
Exactly.
Yeah. And just for, whatever, like full disclosure, we're recording this right before the holidays.
Yeah, right before the holidays.
But this will probably air sometime in January.
Exactly.
Just in case you're like, what's wrong with this time of year? This is the best time of year.
January is great.
What do you mean?
God. All right, so next up, Super Bowl commercials.
Love them.
Awful.
Awful? I think they're awesome. They're the only reason to watch the Super Bowl.
And I think that's a poor reason to watch a 3-4 hour event that you wouldn't have otherwise watched.
Okay, that might be fair, Tom. What do you got?
I love them. I think they're funny. I think it brings out the best in companies trying to compete with each other and get a laugh out of you and get you to remember it. And let's face it, half of us come into work the next day. Yeah, we may talk about the game a little bit, but we're talking about that commercial that we saw that made us laugh, that
Doritos
shocked
and Budweiser
us.
And all those companies they're like releasing the most creative art that they do all year. The Snickers commercial. Do you remember the Snickers commercial with Tom? You remember?
Tom, do you remember the Snickers?
Refresh my memory.
Okay, so it's Steve Buscemi in the Brady Bunch house, like screaming at the mom and dad.
Yes.
And the mom says, "Marcia, eat a Snickers." And so Steve Buscemi eats the Snickers and he turns right back into Marcia.
Great commercial.
She's like, "Thanks, Mom. I feel so much better." That was hilarious.
It is. I love it. Yeah.
I loved it.
I think they're great.
And here's why I think, like, the thing is, like, I saw that commercial, but I didn't watch the Super Bowl because they replay these things, like, ad nauseum. Because you spend, $20 million on a commercial? Of course you're going to play it more than once.
True story.
So, like, I get up in the morning and I check the news every morning on, like, the internet. And they always have the little video clips of all, like, the big commercials that you had to see. In fact, sometimes they'll aggregate them together as one story. Like, here's what you missed. And, you'll see the cute kid in the Darth Vader outfit with the car and all that, So I don't feel like I need to watch. I think I might have even said this on some past episode, but I think, like, I read an article once that for every football game, the ball is in play for 11 minutes out of the 3-4 hours. That is a crazy waste of my time. So, like, I'm not going to sit there and watch commercials that all year long I fast forward through anyway, just to, be part of that zeitgeist the next day.
I need to, nice use of the word zeitgeist, by the way.
Yeah.
I need to memorize that statistic because that is an excellent thing.
I'll send it to you.
Please do, because I want to be able to say to people, no, I didn't watch that football game. Why would I do that? That's 11 minutes of playtime for 3 hours of me sitting on a couch? No.
No, my in-laws and their whole family are super into football. And so, like, it'll be on, and they'll say things like, "Oh, there's only 10 minutes left." And I'm like, wait. 10 minutes real time? Like human time? Or 10 minutes football time?
Yeah.
That's
There's
a
huge difference there.
Yeah.
It's baloney.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, I guess it's football time."
You really have to multitask when watching a game. You could read, you could do the laundry. Just sitting watching the game, it's going to take a good 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah. All right, last one. Legos.
Are you looking at me?
I want somebody.
All right, so This is a hard one to talk about because, all right, so when I was a kid, I was terrible at Legos. Like, just awful. Like, I would get the things and I would put it together and I think I was following the instructions and then it would look nothing like the box.
Yes.
And all my friends would be brilliant. Like, they call them master builders now. Like they'd be making these little remote control cars out of Legos that they could really use, like battery powered and everything. And I'd be trying to make my little palm tree that would turn out like so ridiculous. But like, I don't know. So recently, my wife, Tara, got us into this video game, Lego Dimensions. It came out like a couple years ago. And the idea is that you play this game, you're on an adventure, and you buy the Legos, and the Lego figures you put onto the pad show up in the game. So, like, you know, they're definitely marketing them to people my age because it's like Marty McFly, Pete Venkman, the Doctor. Wow. So, like, of course, you're like, oh, I want to have Marty McFly team up with, like, Gandalf, you know? So, like, you buy them all. I now own more Legos as an adult than I ever did as a kid, which is so sad. But
that's amazing.
But it's been fun. So, and the movies have been really good lately, you know? Like, I don't know if you saw the Lego Batman movie or the Lego movie in general.
No.
You should watch those movies. They're hilarious.
It's not
They are funny.
It's not no, they are really funny.
I doubt it.
All right.
But it's like fan fiction. You can.
This
have,
is
like,
another one of
worlds
those things where I'm right and you're wrong about a movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want to correct. No, I'm like, you should totally see these
Hashtag
movies.
inaccurate.
Yeah.
So Tom, you're nodding your head. You're familiar with this game?
I am. I'm going to go with love it, and I'll tell you why. Because I was never really into Legos too much, but I had a friend who literally had a city of Legos, and it was breathtaking to look at. I don't know how long it took him to build, but I think it teaches you good things about following directions and having patience, and you know, you get to see something tangible when you're done.
Yeah.
So I think it could teach kids and adults, whomever, you know, a lot of good qualities. So I'm going to say love it.
Wow. Have you ever stepped on a Lego?
Yes. Oh yeah.
That is objectively awful.
Yeah, so that's the sole basis for hate it for me. Or awful, I guess. I like Legos in theory. Never been very good at them.
Yes.
And I've stepped on enough of them. And I don't even have kids, so I don't know how, but the pain is visceral. You just remember it. It gets into your soul, and you remember that pain. So awful.
Very true.
I was going to say, they can be really expensive, too. Like, we were at Toys R Us once, and we saw the Death Star. And Tara was like, we should put together the Death Star. And I look at it, and it was like $300. And I was like, it is a gray circle. Like, you know, how is that $300? So, yeah.
$300?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's not out of the ordinary, you know, so, yeah.
That's messed up.
They aren't cheap.
All right, well, I think that concludes our game.
I guess so.
Okay. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
So, Tom, tell us how people can get a hold of NJPAC, how they can find out more about what's going on there.
Yeah, so you can go to our website, njpac.org. Basically go there. That has a list of all upcoming shows, pricing, details like that. You can, of course, go to our group page, request some more information. I will personally reach out to you, perhaps have you down for a tour at our facility, get to know you a little bit, and you know, take it from there, and hopefully organize a great trip for you.
Awesome. Check out the Brussels sprouts, right?
Definitely. Oh my
Check
God,
out
you
the
have to. By the way, I forgot to mention this, but you can also rent out NJPAC as a venue, right?
Yes, you can.
So there was an arts-related not-for-profit in Newark, and they did their annual awards dinner, and somehow I got an invite to this. I don't know how I did. They turned the lobby into a ballroom, basically. They had tables, and they had, you know, chairs, and like a podium and a stage, just like in the lobby. It was amazing.
How cool.
It was so cool and so beautiful, and they did an amazing job. And I love that place.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You know, I'm happy and privileged to be there, and there's so many opportunities. So appreciate your love and support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's our show.
I think that's our show. Yeah.
So please subscribe on your network of choice. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Echo, everything you can think of. Actually, if you're not that into listening to this on some podcast network, we're on YouTube. You can check us out at youtube.com/NJBIA. We have a few different playlists, but ours is right there on the front page. You can check out all of our episodes. Definitely listen to us on iTunes if you can, and if you do, give us the 5-star rating. It'll help us get discovered by more viewers. You know, they pump us out to people when we get reviews.
And thank you so much to our subscribers and listeners. We really appreciate the support. There isn't a whole lot of commenting on the stuff that we put out there, but you have been texting and emailing us personally, and we love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you to Tom Stockey of NJPAC for being with us today.
Thank you both for having me.
Oh, yeah,
it's been great, a lot of fun, and really appreciate it.
Definitely. All right, see you next time.
Later.
Bye.